Hello and welcome, my name is Kyle. Thanks for joining me for a brand new series. Today we are going to start our Let's Play of 80 Days. This is a game that came out for iOS last year, 2014, and I absolutely loved it. It's kind of a choose-your-own-adventure style game. Lots of branching pathways you can go down, and they've completely updated it. It's got a brand new art style for Mac and PC. It's got a lot of new sort of adventures that you can go on, so I'm really excited to play it. I hope you guys are too. Let's go ahead and get started. We are in London, 1872. I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. All right, and we're going to go through a little bit of a short credit sequence here. So I'll be quiet and let you guys just sort of enjoy the music. Alright, so yes, as you just noted in the credits there, this is based on Jules Verne's novel Around the World in 80 Days. And here we are in London. We are going to start our adventure. Monsieur Phileas Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club and in a newfangled steam carriage besides. I helped him down, and the iron-lunged, steam-driven horses clattered away. Passepartout, he said, we are going around the world. And so this is sort of how the game works, right? We're going to be given some story elements, and we make some choices, and that sort of affects the outcome of the game. You can kind of notice here there's also a little bit of steampunkishness going on, which I completely love. So here is our first decision. I will say, around the world, monsieur, I ask, utterly astonished. We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days. He was quite calm as he proposed this wild scheme. We leave for Paris on the 8:25 in an hour. Let's see. You are in jest, I told him in a dignified affront. You make mock of me, monsieur. I'm quite serious. Pack an altimeter and my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste. You, Passepartout, that's us, we are Passepartout, now have funds, and we are now polished. So as you play the game, different things happen. Your character sort of gets different traits. Your relationship with Monsieur Fogg can change over time. So anything like that happens, we will see in this yellow text. So we have to now pack for our adventure. Alright, so we'll pack. So here is one of the game's mechanics. You start the game at least with one suitcase, and as you bring these things, you get different abilities. So if we bring the evening jacket, it's just part of the English wardrobe set. Maybe don't get anything, buy it, but maybe Monsieur Fogg would not like it as much. This is a wax cylinder. Who knows what that could be used for. This is the European shipping timetable, which could be very useful indeed because it will show all of the ships in Europe, all the routes for the ships, which we'll be able to pick from those. Playing cards, which may come in handy while we are on our long journeys, and the altimeter, which is a part of the air traveler's set. And basically, judges, I think, like sort of where you are, 30,000 feet above or below sea level. And that is one of the things also that Monsieur Fogg asked us to bring. So we'll definitely bring his evening jacket. So we can put that there. So we can probably bring, just this and maybe, can we bring this and this? Okay. So I'll bring the altimeter since that's what he said to bring. The shipping timetable is pretty good. Or the wax cylinder. I really want to bring the playing cards. So now we cannot pack either of these things unless we get rid of something. So yep, we're going to make that our choice. Our completed Englishman's wardrobe should help us negotiate times of upper-class journeys. Okay, so that's what having the different wardrobes are going to provide for us. So let's go ahead and depart. We're going to get on the Amphitrite Express. That's our only option at this point, so we will embark. This guardsman has space for one suitcase, so we only have one suitcase, and that's fine, and it's a bearable route, so we'll go. So if we pick bad routes, you know, Monsieur Fogg could get angry with us for traveling that way. So, and that's sort of the mechanics of the game right there. The mechanical horses race past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled to Charing Cross Station. "We have no tickets," I exclaimed. We raced along the concourse and threw ourselves aboard as the second whistle shrieked its warning. We barely had time to take our seats before the guard rapped smartly on the compartment door. He held out a hand. "Tickets, please." Let's see. "Alas, monsieur, we were in a great hurry," I explained, giving him a beseeching look. "We did not have time to buy the tickets." "You may purchase them from me," the guard was saying, "though it is more expensive, I'm afraid. £85, please." Let's see if we can negotiate with this guy. I argued with him. Or rather, I began to, but Monsieur Fogg interrupted. "Passepartout, you will pay the sum at once," he put in coldly, "and remunerate this man for his patience." Alright, so now we can choose to either pay the £85, which was already increased, of our £4,000 that we have, or we could give him 100, which might make Mr. Fogg like us a little bit more, so let's go ahead and do that. I gave the man 100 and added a word or two of advice about allowing a little leniency to gentlemen in their hours of need. The guard gave me our tickets and slid the compartment door shut behind them with a pneumatic hiss. Our funds have gone down by a fair amount. "I am on fine form despite your efforts." "You're quite the flamboyant type, I see." So already he's not too happy with us. I was going to choose the converse option, but looks like we rolled past that point. London smog gave way to rolling hills and the pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancements. Mr. Fogg read his paper whilst I repacked our bags. I demanded to know the purpose of our journey, or we passed the day in silence. Let's figure out the purpose. "You see, Passepartout," he said, "I have made a wager that we can circumnavigate the globe in no more than 80 days. "How large a wager?" I asked with trepidation. £20,000, my master replied coolly. £20,000, I repeated in a strangled tone. He turned back to his paper, perhaps overtaxed by the grueling duration of our conversation. A guard rapped on our door a few miles before Dover. "We are about to submerge," he warned. "Take some people a bit funny, so watch out." "What do you mean, submerge?" "This is the London to Paris Amphitrite Express," he explained, as though to a particularly dim-witted child. "The submersible train? Talk of all the London papers?" "Then this is the Mer train?" I exclaimed. He made a face. "Bloody journalists and their silly names," he muttered. "Every inch of her has been examined and stamped with the artificer's seal. This is the world's only bathyscaphe locomotive." I pressed my face to the window glass as the fins above the Amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell, and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. So we get some nice atmospheric underwater sounds to go along with this part of the journey. The Amphitrite plowed through the water overnight and splashed up onto wider gauge French tracks at Calais as dawn broke. Let's see, do you have a route in mind, monsieur?" I asked, as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. "I am as yet undecided," my master admitted. "The new canal has sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia." All right, so this is one of the branching paths right here. So we can go down to Bombay in India, or we could go up to Siberia. I'm going to go to Bombay. "So I think I say, surely not Siberia," I exclaimed. "It's so cold and grim, and I have a particular fear of bears." "Then we would do well to buy furs," he replied, refraining from rolling his eyes. "There are other alternatives. We may also travel overland and across the Black and Caspian Seas." "Which is the fastest?" "I believe," he said, "that is what we shall put to the test." Parbleu, I scarcely knew what to think. We arrived at Paris Gare du Nord just after 1 o'clock. Automaton porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicately filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. So yes, obviously with a name, or maybe not so obviously with a name, like Passepartout, we are a French man. And you'll have to forgive me if I pronounce some of these names wrong. I just, my pronunciation of some of these European sounds and cities may not be exactly accurate. So here we are, we're seeing our new routes discovered. We learned something about the Russian routes from just having that conversation with Monsieur Fogg. Some of our possessions could earn us well here. We'll have to explore Paris to find an onward journey. Alright, so let's explore Paris. And just by doing that, we open up some more. So we go to Nice, Munich. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had to leave. Indeed, and should you learn anything of note, be sure to relay it. I nodded and headed into town. The talk of the streets was of one thing only, an enormous, elegant oval stadium, constructed upon the green fields of Champ de Mars and containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. My city still wore the scars of last year's siege. I ventured inside. I was certain Monsieur Fogg did not intend for me to visit fairs. So I'm kind of intrigued by this bit of story element here, last year's siege, right? So let's see what we can find out there. My city still wore the scars of last year's siege, as did I. Paris in France had surrendered to the Prussian army after 4.5 months of grim, blood-soaked resistance in the Franco-Prussian War. Now this World's Fair was intended to reassure the country's citizens, and the world also, that the City of Light was still a great capital of the world. I did not doubt that. Let's see. Yeah, but perhaps there was something to be learned for my master inside. So we're going to go into the World's Fair. We get an achievement for doing so. An artificer was replacing an arc light, or I went west towards the airship hangar. Let's go check out the airships. Past a booth with a husband and wife pair selling panoramic hot air balloons to rides to eager tourists. I inquired as to their hourly rate, wondering if perhaps the balloon could be encouraged to go a little way east as well and contribute to our great journey. £80 for a half-hour flight, the man responded. Well, let's see. Either way, I don't think we can do it. Let's say I gaped, "That is robbery." The man shrugged. "We're the only balloonists here today. Are you willing to miss out on the experience of a flight over Paris?" "I'm going around the world," I replied. "I hope for much more impressive sights in the days to come." The man nodded and moved on to the next punter with great swiftness. I regarded the airships that filled the hangar behind him. There were a huge number on display from all over the world, and my eye was immediately caught by Peruvian gyrocopter, a bulky coal gas-powered Ottoman Gayak, the metal-clad four-propeller Savarkar Atomic, the gilded Egyptian Ifrit-class airship, or the African-made rigid metal balloon. I'm going to go for the four-propeller Savarkar Atomic, or Atmodic, with its red and yellow painted hull. "They use the power of the sun, you know," remarked the lady at the stand. "No fuel at all? A little, for takeoff and for emergencies. They have rainy seasons in India, and they don't want their whole fleet grounded. Atmodics such as this sail the skies of British India near the Delhi home of their inventor, Amula Savarkar. Perhaps one day soon, Monsieur Fogg and I would find ourselves flying in such a craft." I returned to the exposition center, my thoughts turning with clouds and engine rotors. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting illuminated pavilions of the exposition. An artificer was replacing an arc light, which had burned out. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel which was wound around with a series of armature coils. "What is that device, artificer?" I asked politely, my eyes straying to the copper lily pin which proclaimed her profession. "It's a bleeding nuisance is what it is," the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. "These Graham machines are finicky beasts." "Graham machines?" I inquired. "Well, it's a... oh, never mind." She waved my question away. "It's a steam engine, all right? Only it doesn't make steam. Will that do? I hate explaining this stuff to laymen." Well, the harshness of her tone was belied by her gentle touch, or I retreated hastily. Let's keep going. The harshness of her tone was belied by her gentle touch as she unscrewed the arc light's globe of enameled glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within. She reconnected the supply, and the 10 Yablokov candles connected in a series lit up once more. Will all streets be lit with electricity soon, I asked. There are already a fair passel of cities lit by electricity rather than gaslight, she retorted. London will probably be the last, given old Queen Vicky's prejudice against the Artificers Guild. The Queen is against you? She's just cautious, that's all, the Artificer replied, pocketing her screwdriver once more. Knows real power when she sees it, though. That's what I'd say. She looked at her pocket watch, cursed, and hurried off, dropping something as she went. Let's try to return this to her. And she thanked me. My medallion! I'll need that to get my lunch from the canteen. Thank you. I bowed in return, and she giggled. Stop that. You'll make me blush. She rubbed the coin thoughtfully. I was given this for my work in Istanbul, you know. I made a very special automaton. I think it works as a driver now, on the route from Izmir. I think that's right. An automaton who can drive? Of course. Is that so strange? I could only shrug. Who knows what is normal in this modern world? I looked about me once more. Alright, so there we learned a little bit. So the game is, slowly peeling out details to us. There's this Artificers Guild, which apparently, they sort of make this new steam technology, or an electricity technology. So we could go check out more about the Artificers Guild. We could go down the Avenue of Nations, or we could leave. Let's go check out more Artificers Guild stuff. I headed towards the red and purple tents of the Artificers Guild, draped with banners emblazoned with their copper lily sigil. A steam-powered orchestra played gleaming brass instruments, or it had the most incredible display of machines, as though a scrapyard had been brought to playful life. One of the artificers... Oh, let's check out this. So, we can explain the credo, which is fine, or we can look at more into this inside a human-shaped automaton. Rummaging through its clockwork innards, he took out a piece of engraved glass and peered at it with a jeweler's loupe. Dash it thing, he cursed in upper-class English tones, and then looked up. Oh, hello. Let's figure out what this shard is. I pointed at the shard. What is that? It's the control glass of my automaton, or it would be if it worked. This one is meant to be a cook, but can't even fry a chip. How does the glass work? He looked pained for a moment. It's complicated, he replied. Light scatters, bends, and... Never mind. In this case, it doesn't work. I need a Persian engraver. The best work is done in Tehran, you know. Let's just wish him luck here and return to the center of the exposition, ears ringing with the bombastic tunes of the steam orchestra. My feet were tiring, and the hour was growing late. I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a meal of plain boiled beef à l'anglaise. Did you enjoy the exposition? My master inquired diffidently, as though I had been out visiting an aged great-aunt, having preferred a hearty meal in English and an English newspaper, and I nodded. So here we have a choice. We can sort of like, we can sort of demonstrate our displeasure with his tone, or we can just sort of nod. Let's go with this one, because I kind of want to be a sort of a thorn in Monsieur Fogg's side. So, as though I'd been visiting an aged great-aunt, rather than witnessing all the wonders the modern world had to offer. So I could say nothing else could possibly impress me now. We are unspeakably lucky to live in such an age of invention. I can ask him if we'll be traveling by airship, or I can ask him if he'll think we'll encounter artificers. Well, this would just like annoy him, and I don't really want to make him angry necessarily. This might be good. So I'm really interested in learning more about the artificers, so let's go down this fast. Do you think we will encounter artificers on our travels? I asked with enthusiasm. Assuredly. I intend for us to use the most efficient transport available. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automatons with beautifully enameled faces, knowing little of the strange inventions and stranger peoples I would soon encounter in my journey around the world. So we heard about this route, right? We heard about the Izmir to Istanbul route in our conversations. The clock is ticking, Passepartout. We must decide our next steps quickly. Alright, so we can either stay in the hotel, we can go to the market and try to buy some things. We could get an extra suitcase, but we don't want to do that if we can't, if we can't get it on our routes. So let's make a plan and let's see how we want to handle this. So we can go to Munich, which leaves in 2 days. We can go to Amsterdam, leaves tomorrow, and Nice. So Nice would cost us 3 days. If we want to go sort of up, I'd rather go down, honestly, like this way. So I think I'll try to head out towards Vienna. We could head to Vienna in 2 days. It's the same train, I guess. So these little notices that you see here are like other players. Like this is another player playing the game right now. They're already on this journey. So let's pick the Vienna route. I suspect this departure could be adjusted. Negotiate. Alright. The Englishman's wardrobe should yield results. Most generous, no charge tomorrow. The ticket will require further to 50. So we got on for free, I think is what happened there. So 12 players did that. They had 4,000, so I spent a little bit more than everyone else. Let's see. So we're gonna have to go to our hotel because that doesn't part until tomorrow, so we'll sleep. We'll pass the night here. We took a hotel for the night. We will be comfortable here, Monsieur Fogg remarked, but traveling overnight will often be more efficient. So we must board the longest journeys available and where possible. Let's do this. So we must board the longest journeys available. Perhaps, he replied, the short answer indicating, I think, that 1 day journeys might be more flexible in their timing and could allow for more connections. Still, the surrounds of the Hotel Ritz were most enjoyable. So we can skip the clock if we're waiting for something, or we can just, when does this train arrive? At 6 p.m. Okay, so we have like 12 hours before this train leaves. So let's take a look at the market again, see if we want to get some stuff, replace some things. There's nothing we could add, unfortunately. So this is Gentleman Traveler's set. You get a shaving kit as part of the valeting set. Get this geometry equipment, a set of geometric drawing instruments precisely made and beautifully presented. Actually, you know what? I didn't look at how many pieces of luggage we could put on this train. Just one. Alright, so we're not going to buy anything. We're just going to keep our stuff that we need. And actually, I think what I'll do is I will end this episode here, and when we resume our journey, we will get on the train and head to our next destination. So, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this series. I really like this game. I hope you do too. It's a little bit different, maybe not as much action as some of the other games I play on the channel, but I think it's a fun game and an interesting game, and there's lots of stuff that can happen, lots of choices we get to make, lots of emergent gameplay, which is what I really like. And this is a new series, so I would appreciate you, if you're not a subscriber, to subscribe to the channel. And liking the video always helps, especially on new series. The more likes I get, it just really helps sort of grow, let more people know about the series and see it, which is always very good. And I'm very grateful for when you do that. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you all next time.